All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Here we go. Game number 3 is here. Complexity versus Team Dire coming at you, and the draft is underway. Complexity, of course, taking the first game. Team Dire taking the second game, thus setting up this third and final game. The winner ultimately moving on to the finals of what is the PGL North American qualifiers for the ultimate land here. I'm Breaky ZPK, joined by Skim once again. Skim, we see Spirit Breaker first picked in Complexity. They get it this time, so we are going to see the Spirit Breaker from Z-Freak most likely.
Yes, and they sort of had a different approach this time around. The bans were pretty much the same as we had in the last game, and it is Complexity with first pick again. But instead of going for the Nature's Prophet, they went for the Spirit Breaker, knowing that they can combo with Spirit Breaker with a Prophet, but they can't really risk having the Spirit Breaker against the Prophet again. So they could still go for the Prophet if they wanted to. It is one of their favorite heroes, and they are very flexible with it. But it was definitely necessary to not have that Spirit Breaker against them again. So this is a good opener, and we see a little bit of a change up as well on the Team Dire side. God damn it, I hate them for this. But yeah, having the Earthshaker, just a good control hero against the Spirit Breaker, of course, as well. So just overall, very solid pickup here. But from Complexity, they picked both supports early on. Very telling. You don't really see that too often.
They do, and again, we see the Silencer. This is going to be for the third game in a row. This is a hero that they have been playing a lot. Kyle's just very comfortable with this hero, so they're going to go back to it yet again. We'll see how it works out here in game number 3. But you're right, more than likely they give away their 4 and 5 position on the other side. They have Necrophos and Earthshaker, who are both heroes that could technically be ran in a couple of different positions. So you're really not really sure of where we're going to be seeing some things. Anyways, the first ban, Nature's Prophet. Now, of course, more to come right here. But obviously, yeah, you see that the IO initially banned once again by Team Dire. We saw what happened in the first game with the IO Tiny. Not wanting to give that up another time. I'm curious to see the Brewmaster, though. I know I brought that up later on in the draft last game. Jesse's Brewmaster is pretty fun to watch, and he plays it very well. It's a hero that he just spams in pub games as well. He loves playing the hero, and again, plays it well. So part of me, just for the entertainment factor, I kind of want to see that hero. What do you think of Brewmaster, though?
It's a strong hero, for sure, and it's a strong control hero. Definitely deals well with heroes like the Earthshaker, for example. You just spin them up in the air, and they become pretty much useless during the entire fight. But at the same time, I think it's also a very difficult hero to transition into the late game with. It's sort of you're very cooldown dependent, and item wise, there aren't many items that make you a late game like killing machine in a sense. Like the ultimate drops off significantly as well because it doesn't necessarily scale. So there are a lot of issues there with the Brewmaster. You need a specific lineup around it as well, but it can definitely work. I mean, both Complexity and also OG have shown that the Brewmaster can work in the one position as well. So it's a very interesting sort of thing there. But I'm not sure if it's the right hero in this game. It could be, but again, I think it would be very dependent on the cooldown, and together with these two supports, I don't think you want to play around cooldowns too much because you already have the global silence as a big ultimate that you would be dependent on, and with the Spirit Breaker as a core or as a roaming support, he doesn't really transition into push very well, right? And then you would basically have two heroes that don't necessarily push too well, just because the Brewmaster in itself also doesn't push too well. So I don't know. I think it might be depending on what the Dire pick up. Brewmaster does counter a couple of heroes, but I think for now we probably won't see it.
The pick here for Dire, I mean, Lich right off the bat is a support hero that is still there. That definitely comes to mind. That PPD could play. Obviously, not Necrophos, Dazzle I was going to say, but I just saw Dazzle's ban, so never mind. We saw Oracle from him as well in the earlier series. So we'll see. Those are the couple that come to mind at least.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because some of their most played heroes have already been banned, or the Venomancer in the AA, or actually picked already, or banned by themselves with the Jakiro. Lich definitely a strong hero, definitely a very good hero in the current meta. He scales very well into the late game, which he has lots of good talents. the damage talent is a little bit of a fun thing, which Piladai did at TI, with the phase boost Shadowplay one. But even the gold talent is really strong and allows him to scale into the late game with items, and he just basically controls a lane. But we have seen in the first game of this very series that he doesn't necessarily win a lane either. When they put the Mu Tidehunter against the Sven Lich,
That's right.
yeah, they can deny him a creep, but they can't really zone him out of the lane. Oh, we haven't seen this at all in this series, but this is likely Limbs. Actually, no, Chessie's Bloodseeker. I think Chessie's the one that plays Bloodseeker on this team. Oh, it could be both, honestly. I mean,
yeah,
they both have overlapping hero pools in general, so
obviously,
in that sense, could be both. But I believe it has been Chessie thus far that's been playing it.
Okay.
Mainly.
Bloodseeker, a good option in general. So now if you're the Dire, what do you think in seeing that pick up right here, their 4th pick? Again, the case of they probably want an off lane. They need another core, whether it's mid or safe lane.
Yeah,
so trying to think of that here.
This is definitely going to be very telling of what their game plan is going to be, because right now they don't really have, right now what they're telegraphing is nothing, really. They have a Necrophos, and they have a Lich, and they have an Earthshaker, that's it. But the next pick is likely going to tell, a lot about the laning stage. I assume it's going to be likely an offlaner that they're going to pick for Zai here. They could technically go for something. I was thinking of the Magnus that we've seen in the last series, but that actually is pretty susceptible. I'm trying to think of one of those heroes right now. The Bloodseeker does make it a little bit difficult because of the silence, but Beastmaster is nice because it adds push and it's a strong initiation. But again, the Bloodseeker blood rate is pretty strong against the push as well.
Gonna see the Limp Sniper. They brought that up earlier in the series, and sure enough, they snap picked it too. They were very confident. And I like that snap pick for a couple of reasons. One, they're just confident in it, but you look at the reserve time of Team Dire over there. They're down to 1 second, so it's kind of putting them on the back foot of they have to make a decision very quickly now with who they want to ban.
Yeah, and especially since they already took that much time just picking the Beastmaster, right? I think if you're Complexity, you're maybe just applying a little bit of pressure here in this draft. Like, hey, we already know what we're doing. Let's just not give them any more time in trying to figure out what we're doing and how to beat us, basically. So
yeah,
I definitely like the snap pick as well. And like you said, or like we both pointed out, this is one of Lim's signature heroes, at least with this team so far. Been playing very well, and I think the Dire definitely have the right idea in mind banning the Tidehunter, but quite frankly, Complexity can go back for the Underlord as well.
Yep.
Both Underlord and Tidehunter, in a sense, fulfill the same role for them. I mean, obviously, Tidehunter has Ravage, which Underlord doesn't have, but both are tanky frontliners that are difficult to bring down. They can bring the mech and the Guardian Greaves into the team, so I wouldn't be surprised if Complexity actually went for the Underlord now.
What about like an offlane Doom? I know, as we've seen it every now and then, for the Doom up of Necrophos especially, could be a decent tool.
That actually could be really strong. I fear that it might be too squishy in a sense because it has very low armor, and depending on the lane matchup, it can actually be harassed quite easily. But Doom and Spirit Pricker is a very potent dual offlane. They can definitely harass the enemy support quite a bit, and Doom can always rotate back into the jungle. But I think for their game plan, they definitely need something that allows them to push, and I'm not sure Doom does that. Pugna does that though.
Yes, he does.
Pugna definitely does. All right, I guess that's an offlane Pugna? Oh, wait. No, I'm not sure. Could this be an offlane Spirit Breaker and a support Pugna? I don't think you want to run a support Pugna, but a support, like an offlane Pugna, would also be quite vulnerable.
I don't know. That's a tough call. I was going to say, if anything, they might run some kind of an aggressive dual lane, maybe like a Pugna Silencer, but Pugna Spirit Breaker. Viper final pick.
They probably will. It's very likely just some dual lane offlane. I mean, they've run a lot of dual lanes with Z-Freak and Mu, with pretty much any hero combination as well. They are so in sync when it comes to that, and even with coL. So in that sense, this is not something necessarily bad. It's just I haven't seen that in a while. So the Viper is a solid pick. It's just a very good laner that doesn't necessarily lose too much, lose against the sniper. And also in the mid game, it's pretty strong, both against the Bloodseeker, but also against the Pugna.
I don't know how you feel, but Decrepify feels awkward this game. Because it's like, defensively, it's great against Viper, but not really anyone else. And then the idea of, like, offensively, you're stopping your sniper and even Bloodseeker from doing damage. So it feels odd.
Definitely, and it is one of those abilities that can backfire in a sense. You know, if you miscommunicate with your teammate, you decryptify a target that somebody else had targeted. But at the same time, there's a lot of synergy there as well, right? Because of the sniper assassinate or the blood right.
True.
There's a lot of synergy in that regard as well. So I think that's fine. But yeah, there's definitely some backfire potential, even with the Reaper Scythe or the Chain Frost.
coL, he gets down here quickly, gets the ward down. So already getting some nice aggressive vision for the team. You see PPD. He's making his way over here. Ooh, he may be seen, though. He did not place the ward. Saw that a smoke broke. Deciding better of it. Are they charging? They are. I don't know if they can really get this kill, especially with support nearby. Maybe block him or prevent him auto attack. Yeah, he's fine. Although Necrophos is now going to be cursed up by coL, and he's kind of hero blocking him, so they're going to do a good chunk of damage right here. Oh, okay. Fissure blocks. Zephyr goes right over it, but
30 seconds
a little tougher for others to follow. Well,
Pycat will already, I mean, he'll probably go back to base, but, you know, there's a lot of time wasted for Pycat.
Yeah.
Sure, it's the same. You could argue the same for Zephyr, who's low in mana, but it's a support versus a carry, so... I guess it actually could be worse since it's still so early in the game that he'll still make it back in time for the creeps. But I believe, yeah, he was already forced to eat a tango as well, so in a sense, still sufficient harassment here.
Chessie does not want to give it this bounty rune, but he is going to have to give it up in the end. Yeah, with Earthshaker coming in, not going to be worth it, so it does end up being the 2 for 2. Good job by Zai. Zoning him out. Getting some assistance there from Misery. So again, as far as the lanes and how they're shaping up, again, Spearbreaker, he's roaming around for now. He's currently smoked up even, but wouldn't be surprised if, for now, well, he's going to sit in the middle lane, but maybe even assist in the bottom lane down here too. But Necrophos versus Pugna will go at it.
So much action in the mid lane already. We see a Lich, we see an Earthshaker, we see a Spiritbreaker right behind them. This is just Dota in 2017. Or I guess it's been Dota for over a year now, but yeah.
Yeah. Look at this courier, man. Look at the courier, the complexity courier, the journey it's taking all the way to the side.
Cannot risk getting sniped.
Misery, he's going to have fun harassing Z-Freak a little bit. He's got 2 clarities on him, so make use of those. We'll pop one up. But him and Z-Freak going to pay attention to one another. Moo, meanwhile, just pushing out the bottom lane. Doesn't seem like he's dealing with too much as Necrophos currently pulling the creep wave there. So, top lane, Beastmaster, how does he fare?
Oh, Misery! He almost got blocked in by his own creeps. That could have been, that
wow.
could have been so bad. He almost got blocked in by his own creeps.
That's really unfortunate. As I was saying, though, Beastmaster at the top lane, do you think he's going to be able to fend for himself and be fine up here, or what?
Yeah, for sure. If anything, you know, the higher his level, the more coL has to be scared that, you know, he might not even be, he might be even able to kill him. Those boars deal a lot of damage and have a lot of slow as well, so I think he's going to be fine. He's not going to prevent Chessie from farming, though, because it's a Bloodseeker. So I think the way the lanes are going, I think Dire is fine with it thus far, as long as they just don't lose this bottom lane versus the Pugna.
Look at middle lane matchup. Sniper right now 9-3, Viper 9-4. So obviously a very back and forth battle right there. Pretty evenly matched up. Sniper gonna get the boots delivered meanwhile. A little more movement factor kicking in. Yeah, Chessie here at the top lane. 12-5 though, leading everybody when it comes to the CS early on in this game. The Dire Curry does get sniped out. It looks like Lich sending in the illusions. Dude, dirty work there. Well, it worked.
Not something you expect.
No.
Not something you expect. Fortunately, there was nothing on the career. I believe it was on the way back, so it already delivered the boots. If it hadn't done that, it could have been really bad for him. Sniper without boots against the Viper, that's a lot of killing potential for CCNC.
Is Necrophos in trouble here? He sure is. That Nether Blast doing a lot of damage. The Orb of Venom gets off the final auto attack. Z-Freak first blood down here at the bottom lane. So good coordination coming out.
Top lane almost gets the kill on his Beastmaster as well. Top lane. Yeah, this is pretty much what Dire didn't.
Ooh.
Well, that's nice. I was just about to say this is what Dire didn't want out of this laning stage. You know, losing both the bottom and the top lane. But CCNC sort of making up for it, but just getting a solo kill in the sniper.
Yeah, he just runs him down, and unfortunately, I was looking on all the other action taking place and seeing how people were recovering, so I missed that, but just runs him down at the tower right there, using that poison to secure that kill. So it's always interesting to see Viper builds as well. I know go a couple of different ideas, maybe even the tankier idea of the corrosive skin. In this case, right now he has level 2 nether toxin though, and he has leveled up.
Just more consistent when it comes to last sitting and harassment. There are considerations to have maybe a few more points in corrosive skin, and he'll definitely prioritize it over the poison attack probably. But you still probably want another toxin, more points in nether toxin because it's just more consistent damage. Top lane, can anybody? I think they can go for a kill here. No.
Yeah.
With Rupture, I mean, once Chessie hits Rupture, that's the hits level 6. Then definitely, yeah. But up until then, they don't really have any catch.
Kill the boar at least, get a little bit of bounty there coming out. But yeah, Pugna bottom lane, I mean, seems like he's doing all right. He's level 4. He's getting some solid CS out of this. Pugna as a hero I find very interesting. You know, technically he kind of farms like he's a core in a lot of these cases that we do see him, whether he's mid or offlane like this, whatever. But then he becomes a glorified support, by the time that mid to late game rolls around. Oh, bottom lane, by the way. What is this about? There's just... Okay, now Z-Freak's in trouble.
Stuck now.
It's also a trap, man. Oh, boy. Talk about the timing, too. The creep wave is here and everything. Nice to Crepify, actually. Will prevent some damage. And he ultimately will be fine. But yeah, going back to Pugna as a hero, played in this role especially, what do you think overall?
Oh, for sure. It's definitely like the idea behind the Pugna. I mean, the very idea behind the ultimate as well is to be a supportive core in a sense. I remember IG when they ran Pugna on a one position, or even Ehome, they would always draft a core, a carry in the mid lane, so that the Pugna could always just sustain that carry in team fights, right? Just give him HP, making sure they can hit longer. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see the same thing just here in this game, with the Pugna providing limp with the sufficient amount of HP to be more sustainable in fights. And I mean, it's the whole idea behind the hero. You want to push, you want to provide them with heal. You're probably going to get a mech later on and the Guardian Grease maybe, and then just make sure that everybody in your team survives, really.
Well, Spirit Breaker sitting down here at the bottom lane, want to make a play. I mean, Pinecat's definitely feeling the pressure down here. He's 19-8 currently as far as his creep score. He's down there on the chart. I mean, he's not like far behind, but he is struggling of sorts. coL, meanwhile, rotating through the Radiant jungle. Puts down a ward to actually block here, as well as get some vision. Even steals the bounty run on top of that. Gladly pick it up. PPD's essentially playing a solo offlane right now, as he actually has a level 3 sacrifice even. So getting as much out of that ability as far as denying goes.
Yep, pretty much. I mean, the Beastmaster can't really... I mean, Zai could stay in lane, but he wouldn't really get any farms, so this is the most effective way of doing it, especially since Complexity cannot punish it just yet.
That's a Viper Strike middle lane, by the way. Z-Freak, he gets out, though. That was close. Top lane?
No. Oh.
coL goes down. He dove a little bit too deep, apparently.
Yep. And this is so good for the for Team Dire right now, because it's actually kind of on Complexity to apply more pressure in this laning stage. Maybe like this with Chessie. No.
Is Chessie in trouble? He's getting a little bit low, but Magic Stick, keep him alive, puts the blood right out, and he's just going to keep on running. That Rupture on a Beastmaster, keeping him at bay, and that wasn't Primal Roar committed. Yeah, Z-Freak, though, he wants to snap out the kill of the Shrine. He can't get to a good timing from Z-Freak there. Getting in, securing it.
Yeah, it was a bit awkward. They both, like the Chessie, Bloodseeker, and the Spirit, the Beastmaster, they both initiated onto one another, but ultimately Chessie was just... I mean, they probably could have killed Chessie actually if he had committed for that kill. So this was very good for him to retreat. But yeah, I think it's, if anything, it's a Complexity to apply a little bit of pressure right now, because Limp is sort of getting crushed in his mid lane, and they need to alleviate the pressure from that. Maybe find a kill on CCNC even.
Find a kill on Moo. I am gonna really get some fine tuning going on here, but that was a Reaver Scythe kill onto Moo actually. So he's dead for another 25 seconds. All right, here's a possible kill. Top lane, can catch this one. Z-Freak bashes in with the charge. No bash after that. The armor definitely helps. Arcane's Curse comes out, but now coL's in a pretty bad spot himself. Oh, he went a little bit too deep. He's going to be run down now. They just have massive slow, and he will get turned on. So, yeah, it's unfortunate with the angle for him. Limp, meanwhile, middle lane. It's a Viper strike. It's just not enough damage. He gets back in time. Whew, that port out timing was perfect. And now Moo ports in. He's going for the turn kill to Viper. Charge comes in for the side from Z-Freak, and they are going to turn kill onto CCNC. So, overall complexity. That worked out pretty well for them. Killing the Viper finally in the middle lane.
Yeah, much needed kill. Unfortunately for Limp, he wasn't even around for that. Limp, this is a solo mid sniper. He isn't even level 7 yet.
Ouch.
Right? This is just how bad his laning stage has been. And he, no, he definitely needs to catch a break. Maybe bottom lane, his team can create some space for him. Doubt they're going to get a kill.
No. He has a Ghost Shroud and Magic Wand charges. He's fine.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, again, Complexity just needs to find more pickups like that. They definitely need to, apply a little bit more pressure with their heroes. It's difficult because, I mean, it's a Silencer and then, yeah, Spirit Breaker Pugna, not necessarily the classic ganking combo. But they definitely do need to create some space. And Chessie needs to get involved as well at some point. He has Rupture. He probably should TP bottom, honestly, and try and fight with his team.
Well, they're at the tower down here. In fact, they want to dive. They know Pycat's in here. Another blast. Hits the tower. Did not hit Necrophos, so now Necrophos running out the Reaper side. They want this kill on to Pugna. Heals it up slightly, using that life drain now with the Decrepify, and he's going to get plenty out of it. Also, Earthshaker got bashed on through as he was trying to assist right there. And they end up killing him in return, and actually Necrophos will make his way out. But, man, the fact that Pugna lived even, that was impressive.
What a hero. From basically 50 HP to, well, almost full HP again. Sure, he doesn't have any mana anymore, but I think if you're Pugna, you're totally fine with this trade.
Yeah. And this is probably a tower kill. You mentioned one of the hero that can definitely push towers, and of course with that Nether Blast. Good at that. Misery's nearby. TP's coming in and vulnerability, so they don't want to give this up. And that is Viper, by the way. And now Moo, he is in trouble. Viper Strike, he goes for the TP immediately. That's not going to work, though. Earthshaker right there, so he gets stopped. Z-Freak, his will work, but they do deny the tower. So good execution coming out from Team Dire. And now Primal Roar, they are going to find coL here in the middle lane. Do they have the follow-up damage is the question. He throws out his curse, the last word. No one's coming in, though. There is a shrine. He's late to kind of run towards it, though, and here comes a charge. No, he couldn't get it in time, but was it too much of a commitment? PPD? No, he's going to be fine. Chain Frost coming out, bouncing into the creep. We have a lot of the creep wave to get the damage. Oh, he actually Nether Strikes out of it. He's going to be fine. The Assassinate finishes off Peter Pan Dam right there, and now Zai, he has to stand still with that Rupture on him, but here comes Viper to protect his boy. And Zai will be fine as a result of that. Z-Freak, though, can he get out of this? Charges up. Can he charge to the top? Yes, he can. And he will make his way out of here. Ooh, close calls on both sides.
Yeah, very close calls. Just a bit unfortunate Complexity. It just goes to show how strong the Viper is in his mid game and why it is such a strong pick here. Even though you have a Sniper, a Spirit Breaker, and a Bloodseeker sitting around a Rupture target, you cannot go onto him because there's a Sniper sitting right next to him.
Misery, taking a lot of damage, bro.
He's dead for sure.
He is dead. The sucky comes out from Moo. Takes him out. CCNC, he'll be fine. A little tank here. But yeah, he just started tanking the tower, unfortunately, and just got caught off guard. So they did get the tower kill, though, right? Oh, wait, yeah, they did, yeah.
They did, yeah. So this is good for Team Dire. You know, they're getting their objectives. They're getting their kills as well. They're getting their farm, which is more important. You know, at least on Viper and the Beastmaster. Necrophos has been suffering, but if you're I think if you're Dire, you definitely take this. Like, if you had to pick any of the 3 cores, you probably either him or the Beastmaster. Just because his Reaper Scythe is still going to be strong no matter how many items he has.
Decrepify apply to Earthshaker. Z-Freak charges in. The Assassinate queued up. Wasn't even necessary. Z-Freak does the damage necessary for that kill. Lich, he's also going to be found, though, Chessie. Of course, with that Thirst, runs him down, but now Chessie is in a very awkward spot. Not much mana to work with either. Reaper Scythe kill onto him. He's dead for 40 as he went just too deep for that kill.
Yep, not the best trade. Getting 2 supports is nice, but trading a core for that, and even losing the tower, getting it denied rather. This is the second tower that's been denied, so that's a lot of gold not going in Complexity's way, and their lineup definitely needs that gold. Especially, I mean, Limp especially. I think if you ask Limp right now if he could, you know, what he would want, he probably needs more money right now.
Yeah, back-to-back games where Limp has been struggling. We mentioned the OT last game. I mean, overall, it just wasn't good that good for Complexity, but he was really struggling in that mid lane, and now this game, getting outmatched in the Viper versus Sniper matchup, and he's just trying to find any kind of recovery room. He's doing that by taking out the jungle, of course, as you'd expect. Mask of Madness queued up, just about finished. So that's going to be a nice enhancement there.
And the issue is, much like in the last game, is, you know, if you lose the mid lane like that, what is the trade-off? Are you getting anything done in the other lanes? And you could argue, yeah, in a sense. I mean, Chessie did well in his safe lane, and Pugna did well in his lane. But those lanes, like on the Dire side, they recovered. I mean, Beastmaster recovered in the jungle. Lich got a lot of experience from that lane, so in a sense, he didn't lose that lane either. And then the Necrophos, yeah, he suffered, but the Earthshaker just looked for a lot of kills. So, in a sense, I'm not even sure Complexity won that laning stage. And, I mean, the net worth and experience graph definitely tell me that, you know, Dire actually has been ahead for a bit now.
Yeah, that they have. You know, it's still a very minimal lead overall, but a lead nonetheless for Team Dire right here. Man, that's a mid-tower kill coming out for Complexity, but the top secondary tower going down for Team Dire. So overall, much better for them as far as that exchanging going on. How about Chessie's decision here, by the way, with his item choices? He's been winning a lot of build-up, but he's going right into the Radiance.
That's a great pickup. I think it's a great pickup on Bloodseeker. It's a lot of damage. It accelerates his farming as well. Bloodseeker, yeah, he does have the Blood Rage, but still, the Radiance is going to hugely accelerate his farm. And it deals well with the Viper, who's not going to have an MKB or a BKB anytime soon anyway. So that's just a nice added bonus as well.
Complexity scans out Team Dire right there in the jungle, so that's going to be the cue for a Silencer to TP away, and Z-Freak back away. He has the Hand of Midas queued up, so Greed will continue there. Kind of recovery, whichever way you want to look at it. Limp, Mask of Madness can finish. Now the Maelstrom. There's just a very glass cannon build, but you know, like doing this, they play that protection game for him. Ideally, he could just sit in backgrounds and be a turret for the team.
I think that Midas is pretty telling of how Complexity are going to approach the game from here on out. They cannot win this in the mid game possibly right now, unless Dire make a lot of mistakes, like this maybe.
There we go. They open on a CCNC. He's going for the teleport. The Crepify, though, and just see the follow-up damage, man. That was pretty intense with the Nether Blast and everything. So
very close, but such a good kill for them. How much gold did he get? Wait, only 260? That feels like a very low amount of money compared, you know, to his net worth. He's the highest net worth. I guess a lot of it was shared as well, you know, between everybody else, but still. A much-needed kill for them. It gives them a lot of time as well. Viper not on the map, that's a lot of time just farming. Without the Viper, it's very unlikely that Dire is going to look for a kill. Sure, they could technically find a kill with Reaper Scythe, and as I say that, he's actually smoked out Pycat. Looks like this might just be a dead move.
No. The cow instincts kick in. No, that somebody's nearby. I don't even know if that's a thing. Primal Roar comes out, though, locking him down, and yeah, there's no way he's getting out of this one. Reaper Scythe, okay, well,
he didn't, yeah.
At least he didn't die to the Reaper Scythe, so there's a positive.
Yeah, you're not dead forever, move. Only a little bit.
Yes, there's only a level 1 Reaper Scythe, would have been 10 more seconds, but still.
In the meantime, Chessie does find a solo kill onto Misery, which is also nice. But they also lose their tier 1 bottom, which is just a good thing for Dire right now. They just take more map control. This is sort of what they want with their lineup as well. They even applying pressure to this tier 2, which I don't think... I mean, that Complexity can definitely defend this, but they're going to have to rotate a lot of people for this.
They are, and Team Dire gets back now before that rotation comes in, although... Oh, Z-Freak! He was charging the Necrophos, happened to run right through Zai, who was trying to TP out, and that was just the perfect angle, so a little bit of luck involved. Gets the kill on him, though. It's funny that Beastmaster dies right there in the sense I was actually just planning to talk about Beastmaster, by the way, and his item build. And personally, I love seeing this kind of item build. I don't know about you, but and I know there's games for it, but Necronomicon at times just feels a little underwhelming. It feels like when people they pick up a Beastmaster, they almost like have to go the item because of the synergy and whatever. But this style of build, this more of like team fight presence, but also heavier gank oriented as far as like amping the damage, you know, locking out with Primal Roar, amping the damage as a result of the Solar Crest and so on. It just feels a little more sturdier, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. And in this game especially, where there's a lot of AoE damage from complexity, right? They have the Shrapnel, they have the Pugna Blast, they have the Blood Rite. There's so much AoE damage that can deal with the Necronomicons, actually. Whereas with this build, you have the Aura, which just amplifies everybody that that's pushing. But then also the Dominated Creep, which doesn't really get, it's not really dealt with all of the AoE. If anything, they have to commit every AoE spell to actually get that creep killed. So in that sense, it's almost better than a Necronomicon, at least in this game. And like you said, that's there's the added bonus of it being this being a very ganking oriented build, right? With the Solar Crest adding more damage, it also allows them to take Roshan, for example, now, which they did, and overall just makes it easier to kill those targets, like the Sniper, like the Bloodseeker.
Oh, wow. CC&C going very ballsy right here. I mean, he's Viper, so... And he does have the HS, so I guess he has good reason to, but trying to run down Silencer, just out of range, though. Top lane, Z-Freak, he could be in trouble. He does have that charge. He's going to go for the TP route, though, and that will allow him to get out, so... Good decision on his part there. Moo pushing out the bottom lane. Pycat's here, though. He does have that Yule's picked up. The Blink Dagger just about finished. Here comes the charge. He's just going to Yule's up the Spirit Breaker. And actually could set up a turn here now. Fissure comes out. Tower taking some good damage, but Z-Freak, he's dead. That's a Chain Frost into a Reaper Scythe, into dead for 55 seconds.
Yeah, that's a good turnaround for sure. It's a bit unfortunate for Z-Freak, but at the same time, he died very far away from his own tower, and kills like that don't really translate into anything, so it is still fine. But I definitely like coL. You're so dead. Yeah,
there's that solo kill, Beastmaster.
So much physical damage. It's insane. But yeah, Team Dire, they definitely keep the pressure up, which I very much like, and they have to really. You don't really want to give Complexity any more time to farm up their items. Ideally, if you're a Dire, you finish this game just after, or just before Chessie picks up his second big item. Right? He's still working on the Radiance, and before he picks up that item, you probably want to already at least be knocking on their tier 3s. And maybe even with this Aegis. Maybe even with this Aegis, they're going to push the tier 3, or at the very least, the bottom tier 2.
Yeah, they are pushing out the bottom lane, but with that said, I mean, Complexity's doing a good job of keeping it pushed up. That's what Moo's been really doing, keeping that lane pushed up here. Spamming that Nether Strike especially, another Blast even, and he also almost has the Rod of Atos finished, actually, on him too, so nice synergetic item for that hero. Makes him a little bit beefier, but also having that root could be beneficial for the team. Limp, he has a Maelstrom, Dragonlance queued up, trying to continue his progress in what's been a overall a pretty slow game, but you see right now, I mean, he's third in net worth, so he definitely has recovered a bit. Good for Complexity.
He has recovered a bit, but I still think that the Sniper feels very weak just yet. He needs at least another item or two to really be able to stand in those fights. Because right now, if somebody jumps him, he's dead, very much. Or it's very likely that he's dead because he's very squishy. And Moo himself is he can keep him alive for a little bit, but there's a lot of AoE control on Team Dire just because of Chain Frost, and then there's the Earthshaker as well. There's a lot of annoying spells to deal with. So I don't know. I think Team Dire, the way they're approaching the game right now, is just pretty much perfect, or it's just very well done. They just apply a lot of pressure, push together as 5, and yeah, Complexity is doing good. Is doing a good job of pushing out the lanes, but I wouldn't be surprised if Team Dire force a fight very soon with the Aegis still.
Well, it's not much longer, but again, they push the tier 2 bottom, and it's farming up a little bit more throughout the jungle right here, but Complexity's not giving them many options to go on, that's for sure. They're slowly pushing out the lane. They might do that now as I say that. You see Moose thinking about poking out the Radiance Bloodseeker. Also checking things out, but while this is going on, I mean, coL actually on the support silencer is pushing out the top lane. And you do have Z-Freak farming up the jungle, so it seems a little backwards that the supports are the one pushing and farming while the cores are in the base, but hey, it kind of works out.
But at the same time, the supports are trying to get as much information as possible. Like, if they are the ones, since they didn't have any vision over the Radiant team anymore, or bottom lane, Blink Echo,
They are going in. They want Pugna dead. He does have the life drain, though. He puts up the Decrepify Necrophos. The ward's put down as well. Pycat wants to kill the Reaper Scythe. Will get it, but at what cost for Pycat? He just melts right after. So 1 for 1, eye for an eye. Meanwhile, Port coming out from Team Dire. That would be Zai. And unless, okay, well, Z-Freak's charging. Misery, he's still in trouble. Fissure Stun hits. Charge for another 10 seconds, and he will get away with the TP. So Pugna for Necrophos there.
Pugna for Necrophos, it's definitely a good trade for Complexity. Getting rid of that Pugna and forcing the Earthshaker back as well. It likely means that Dire won't have an opportunity to push with the Aegis anymore, just because they lost the Necrophos like that. Which is honestly it's a win for Complexity by any means. And the Radiance is now complete in Chessie. It's going to accelerate his farm. And at this stage of the game, Complexity just need to buy themselves as much time as they can. Like, not give away any crucial kills, or if they do, at least trade them efficiently. But as I say, that Limp up here might just be the target of a gank.
He goes on shrapnels, and he will fall back. He's even going to just throw some harassment. You see that Assassinate, though, again, how tanky Viper really is, that corrosive skin. Makes him a tough target to kill, so just poke at him a little bit. But yeah, the Dragonlance now finished on Sniper, so he has even more range to work with here. And Complexity is playing a very safe and slow, methodical game here, it seems like. Like, the Tier 3s, you're kind of mentioning that with the last Aegis, they weren't really able to start breaking the base. And Complexity is doing a good job, though, of sitting in their base and not giving them any options, really, to take advantage of and working their way back in it. So is Team Dire on a hard clock here, you think, as far as do they really need to break that base coming up here in the near future even?
Not yet. The Viper still has 1 or 2, 3 item slots to go before he really caps, or before he starts like falling off in a sense. And the same with the Necrophos. You know, he invested into a defensive item with the Yolds, and you know there's still a lot of items to go for him as well. So I think the Dire still have time, but it is definitely getting increasingly more difficult for them to break the high ground against the Sniper lineup and against Sniper Bloodseeker as well. There's so much potential for high ground defense as well. So I think the way Complexity is playing is great. They're trying to stall it as much as possible, not giving them an inch. And like you said, they're always grouping up. And if they are outside the base, it's mostly the supports actually, right? They're scouting for ganks or tanking ganks as well, and keeping the cores safe. And that's the way they have to do it right now. Because realistically speaking, for Complexity, they're not going to win this game in the next 10 minutes. If anything, they have to take it to 15, 20 minutes or 30 minutes even. So they have to be very patient and wait for Team Dire to overextend, and then their timing will come.
Moo just continues to put that Nether Ward down, farm up a lane, push it out slightly. He had some backup nearby too, but again, Team Dire, they're also playing it fairly safe. Here comes a Smoke Ink, though, from Complexity at the bottom side of the map, but as we see, it's not really going on. In fact, the Radiant's scanning out the area. They are going to eventually scan something out, and that's going to be their cue. Look at the top lane, Beastmaster Zai, the 4-boar army, whatever the hell this is supposed to be. This is armored boars, I guess. Anyways, pushing it in and going to get a reaction, I'm sure, out of Complexity. Sure enough, Pugna makes his way in. So, yeah, again, it's no surprise. This is quite a bit on the line here. This is for the finals of the NA qualifiers for what's an eventual LAN, one of the first minors of the season. We have our classic case of game number 3. Everything's on the line. Things have slowed down a lot between these two teams.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of there's a LAN event potentially, or at least the finals of the qualifiers for a LAN event on the line here. But also both teams, they have a lot to prove, right? Team Dire, a new team, then also PPD, he's had a year break, so he kind of needs to prove that he's still a capable player, a capable captain. Same time, Misery has had a rough year with Planet Odd, Digital Chaos, didn't even qualify for TI. Same with Pycat, so. They have a lot to prove, and I don't even have to tell you how much Complexity still has to prove, right? Last season wasn't that great either, and with this roster, which, by the way, they also didn't really make TI last year, or TI6 didn't make TI either. Oh.
Yeah, this is we have a finally breaking out. Promaror and a sniper right here. Here comes Viper, and there's the Decrepify this time. It does come into play big time, actually, but it's not going to be enough in the end. Sniper does go down. Nether Ward put down. CCNC feeling some zaps from that, but Pugna keeping on running. Decrepify up again in another second right here, but doesn't need it. There's a kill, though. Again, Sniper going down. Z-Freak just walks on by with that Glimmer Cape. Chessie top lane being hunted somewhat. Viper will kind of take the creep away for himself. So, But yeah, they finally find somebody, and it's that sniper who's continuing to jungle.
Oh, CCNC might get caught out here.
Oh, yeah, he is kind of by himself. The Rupture's up. He's running, though. The Nether Strike comes in. Here comes Misery with a Fissure. Not going to commit any further, though, and that is a kill on a CCNC. Bottom lane being pushed in, though. Can Complexity react to this in time? They absolutely can. They're easily going to be able to hold it off. So in the long run, that actually looks pretty good for Complexity, considering they got that big bounty kill onto the Viper there. There's a 491 gold. All right, they're charging in, aren't they? In fact, yep, Earthshaker, he's in trouble. The headshot's coming out. Not enough to stop the Fissure, but staying just close enough. Limp, he's running in. The Assassinate. Boom! Shakalaka. Gets the kill right there, so that will be two.
This is pretty much what Complexity has been waiting for. Just waiting for an opportunity for Team Dire to make a mistake, and they just made a big mistake right there with CCNC getting caught out like that. I think he felt a little bit overly confident because he had the Shadow Blade. But look at the Dire jungle. There's 3 sentries there as well, so I'm not sure he would have ever gotten away. But Chessie.
Yeah, it's the game of the cores just getting picked off, man. First it was Sniper, then it was Viper, and now it's Bloodseeker's turn. Here in the middle
seconds
lane
as well. Roche, oh god, this is the worst possible outcome for Complexity right now. They lose Chessie and they lose the Aegis. They can't really contest this. I mean, they're probably gonna try to or posture themselves around it. But they can't really contest it without the Bloodseeker. They're not going to have enough damage.
Yeah, if you're Complexity here, I don't even think you try.
Yeah, just push out the waves. Like, push out the bottom lane as much as you can. You probably can send somebody top just because it's going to be too risky, but definitely try to push out as much as you can.
They're just farming it up right here as much as they can, but there we go with the inevitable Roshan kill. So CCNC will now have a little bit of backup here as he does have the Aegis picked up. Heading towards that top lane, going to start to push it out. Cheese also picked up by somebody. That looks like Pycat. Let's get it. Pycat's build's a little interesting, by the way. He's kind of got a mix of, he's got he went the Yules first, which is, again, not your everyday item on Necrophos, but with a matchup here. Kind of makes sense. And then Blinken and now BKB coming out on Necro, which he's not usually a BKB carrier. In games.
You definitely want it though because of the silence. You definitely need it because of the silence, just because you want to get that Reaper scythe out at any clutch moment. The heal as well. So in that sense, it's definitely a good pickup here. And the Yules, of course, with the Pugna makes a lot of sense. So I think his item build makes a lot of sense. It sort of sucks that you have to go for these items, but since I think he's going to be fine with it if he gets like a really crucial Reaper side kill or a crucial heal off in a fight.
It's like he knows, man. The Spider Sense is tingling, and they're charging Viper. That's what he's going for. Seeing him with the Sentry Ward, gets the Half-Life Sniper in the backlines, drops the Aegis. Here we go with the response, though. Zyre running in with the Primal Roar, lock in, down Bloodseeker. They also get the kill on the side of the backlines. The Reaper Scythe cuts down Bloodseeker again. He's like, hello, remember me? Yeah, I bet you do. Takes him out again. 85 more seconds. Chessie is out for another 85 seconds, just like he was a couple of minutes ago. And as he said, no buyback once again. So this is going to be a lot of pressure. I mean, they got the Aegis, but obviously came at a massive cost for Complexity.
You know, Z-Freak not knowing that there was actually somebody behind him sort of cost them this engagement, because if he had just seen somebody, they would have probably been able to make the call, hey guys, I'm actually being followed. Maybe let's not overcommit onto this Viper Aegis. Fortunately for them, they are able to stall this sufficiently, because without, like, I'm not sure Dire knows that Chessie doesn't have a buyback, but, oh, another charge on the Necro.
Oh, there's that BKB, but you see the Nether Strike coming out, but I guess that's the reason why he got it. BKB keeps him alive, as you're talking about. And he's going back in, man. Pycat's ready to fight now. He even has a cheese still on top of this. So you got to be careful of your Complexity. CCNC, oh, they find Pugna. Fissure hits him, Decrepify. And ain't going to work. Viper strikes out, and matter of time before he'll fall. He goes down right there. He does have a buyback, by the way, but Bloodseeker's still down for another 10 seconds. Complexity needs to be careful about overcommitting. However, Limp's still in plenty of damage from the back lines, and it will be Team Dire falling back here. So, I mean, again, they still haven't broken Tier 3 just yet, but they are getting a little bit more of a net worth lead as these engagements happen.
Yeah. But at the same time, though, there are some crucial items coming up for Limp and Chessie, or at least for Chessie. The BKB is going to be very important there as well. And yeah, sure, you're behind in terms of net worth, but as long as your cores can keep up in terms of net worth, it's not bad. And the Limp Sniper is keeping up. He's just behind the Necrophos. So in that regard, yeah, you're behind by what? 10k? No, that's the experience. Well, oh yeah, almost 10k net worth as well. As long as you're keeping up on the cores, that's almost okay, because the actual difference is between your supports, right? Oh, coL is behind 5k behind the Earthshaker, but that doesn't really matter as long as he has global.
Yeah. Doing his job there. I also looked at the levels. You got 3 level 20s on the Radiant side, which, again, with the talent trees, is a pretty impactful mark. You got Beastmaster getting that 12% cooldown reduction. You got Viper picking up his 75 attack range, so even further now that he has to work with. And then of course, there's Necrophos, who went the 5% spell amp to top it all off. So they're level 20s coming into play, and of course 25. We'll keep an eye on that as it comes along. See what people decide to go for.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Viper. What does Viper get, by the way? Level 20 armor or Viper Strike DPS? Okay.
Viper Strike DPS, most likely.
Yeah.
I mean, unless complexity suddenly become like a huge threat, but even then, the Viper Strike DPS is just too strong. But the Blood Raid cooldown is what I'm looking forward to on the Chessie side of things. If he does hit level 25 anytime soon, that is going to make pushing high ground so difficult, and it's just a bullshit talent.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
You see they scan the base just to make sure, and they were right. They scan complexity, just chilling there, like they've been doing a lot lately. Sniper has 2,400 gold saved up.
Both teams going to smoke up? They were. No, alright. Dire were pinging to group up somewhere.
Well, they got Spirit Breaker here, but Complexity's coming in. They're going to be too late, though, yeah. They saw him from over the river, and they just had to wave and say goodbye. Not much they could do there. So they just turn around.
But, again, Z-Freak or Spirit Breaker dying, yeah, it sucks, but at the same time, it doesn't really translate into anything for Team Dire, right? Like, they're not going to get anything in the next 37 seconds while Z-Freak is dead, so in a sense, giving his team that I mean, it's unfortunate because they wanted to go for a smoke gank, but overall, he doesn't like give away anything else. Oh, and Chessie might even bait in the CZC Viper. That's a sentry sitting there.
Yeah, saw what happened last time. A lot of Atos ready from Pugna, but now all that backup here. Moo could be in trouble now. He's pushing out a little bit. Fissure happens. Echo Slam, no, the global silence. Gonna be committed. They force staff away, but now the Yule's activated on the Bloodseeker. The Rod of Atos on Pycat. He's gonna blink out of the Blood right. Good job by him. Chessie still has a Rupture. Look at CCC, the backlash. That Netherwar's doing some work, and now Limp's able to get in some auto attacks. Rupture up on a CCC, by the way. He does have the cheese. He's gonna use it right there. Reaper Sight takes out Pugna. He has a buyback. BKB from Chessie running away, but the Primal Roar stunning him right on through. Locked down for a couple more seconds. Finally able to run now. Pops the Shrine. Yes, he will stay alive in the back lines. In comes Z-Freak. He cleans up one. He's going for the second kill on a Beastmaster. Can he get another Bash Proc? It doesn't look like it, and Viper's too strong. Gets out of the Blood right and secures the kill. On to the Spirit Breaker. Pycat, though, goes down to Chessie in the back lines, and now Chessie, you can tell he's feeling it. He's going for CCNC. The Blood Rage is applied, and gets the kill, gets the heal. And double kill for Chessie. 3-2 exchange in their favor. No buybacks used, right? Yeah, no, that was a no buyback fight. So Complexity, they actually come out on top there.
This is pretty much the dream fight for Complexity. You know, they're drawing out the fight pretty long. They're even forcing Dire to split up because Chessie was so low. Necrophos chased him back into the base. It really split them apart. Z-Freak went for the supports, which also split their attention. So this was the dream fight for them, and getting Viper and Necrophos is so huge for them. Surviving on both Limp and Chessie, also pretty huge. And suddenly Limp is sitting at 3k gold again. I'm pretty sure he literally just spent his money before the fight, or not before the fight, but you know, a couple of minutes before the fight, and sitting at 3k gold again. Same with Chessie.
Yeah. And Chessie's one that's really kind of, you know, a little more impressive. I mean, the fact that he right-clicks a Diffusal Blade right there. So he has a Diffusal now coming. He got Sniper, who's looking to go Butterfly at this point, and right now at least, I mean, Viper has no intentions of going an MKB here. So this Butterfly, the sooner that he can get it, that's going to be absolutely huge for him in this game. And then again, Bloodseeker getting that Diffusal, so now he can take care of that Ghost Shroud, especially purge off the armor. It's going to have multiple purposes for Purge in this game.
And by the way, this stage of the game is where the Midas on the Spirit Breaker Z-Freak is going to pay off a lot. And once he hits that level 20 talent, oh god, he's going to have so many items, it's going to be really difficult for Dire to deal with him, because he's going to have core level farm as a support, right? And he's going to just jump into them, and it's going to be really difficult for them to bring him down, and that creates so much space for his cores to kill everybody else. So again, as the longer this game goes, and you know, Complexity has been planning for this for a while now, the longer this game goes, the more it is going into the favor.
Yeah, the level 20s now coming along for Complexities here. Just looking at those, you got the cooldown reduction on Sniper. You have 10 to all stats picked up by Bloodseeker right here. Again, with that Diffusal Blade just finished. Is Ags an item that Bloodseeker maybe thinks about himself for the charges of the Rupture here, or do they need even more damage? Okay.
That is definitely something worth picking up at some point. It's not a must-have item, but it's definitely something we've seen a lot at TI as well. Double Rupture is definitely a huge item.
Yeah.
Octarine Core is something we saw as well, because at the time, you know, with the insane cooldown on the Blood Rate, I'm not sure this is really the game for it. They definitely need some more sustainable physical damage. So I think Aghanims, and then maybe something like an Abyssal. Actually, Abyssal probably before the Aghanims, because you need something to deal with the BKBs.
These teams are good at scanning, man. The Complexity to scan team Dire right there. Wild Axes just clear out some trees. They're going on coL. He got the global silence off, though. In the backlands, Earthshaker. He's going to die before he can do a damn thing. It looks like no. He gets the heals off. coL will fall. Viper is sitting back here. Limpus, meanwhile, just on the cliff in the backlands. Finally, Earthshaker goes down. That Chain Frost bouncing around doing work, but the BKB wearing off now for Chessie. The Shrine was popped, though. Sucky on a CCNC with the Life Chain from Moo. The Reaper side, there's not enough damage for the kill. Can he get the heal with the Blood Rage? Yo, it's not against the heal, but he gets the kill. The triple kill for Chessie coming out. PPD is going to juke into the woods. He'll be fine, it looks like. He'll TP away, or will he? Oh, Limp almost caught him. But no, he does get out. But another great fight for Complexity. That global silence initially really threw them off as they engaged that fight.
Yeah, this was just great reaction from coL, realizing, all right, I'm dead anyway, might as well throw out my global silence. And that's the thing. If you initiate onto the silencer and he still gets global silence off, I'm not saying it's not worth it to kill him,
job,
but
yeah.
you know, he already did his job, and then Complexity just set up a great fight. Again, nobody even touched Limp because of his great positioning, but also because Z-Freak just jumps into everybody, tanks a lot of spells, tanks a lot of damage, and then Chessie surviving there is just, almost a miracle. Like, how often does this guy survive, right? To be fair, this was also next to the Shrine, so a lot of regeneration going his way, but also just, again, great just overall split from Complexity, making sure that Dire never fight as 5, but rather there's like a lot of like mini split fights.
It's obviously a lot going on as usual in these fights, but from what I could tell too, Viper was really focused on trying to deal with Sniper in the backlands, which of course makes sense. But again, the positioning of Sniper seemed like it made it very awkward for him to get to him, and with him not beating into the Bloodseeker, who's up in his teammates' faces, that gave Bloodseeker somewhat free reign with his BKB up especially, and obviously they got close to killing him with the Reaper Scythe, but it just wasn't enough, and you know, stayed alive. The end result came out, and Complexity looking good there in the end. But yeah, Sniper now has a butterfly finish, and we already talked about it. I mean, MKB is not being built here, so that evasion is going to be very useful on top of the damage amp that it provides for him right now.
Look at the net worth. Look at the net worth graph. We almost hit a point where Dire had 10K, and now it's going down to what, like 3K only? And 3K again. This is the disadvantage. Oh, that's a dead Lich.
Maybe no Assassinate coming out, but he's just busy killing off all the minions of Beastmaster, so getting some bounty. And Z-Freak's going to stop going in. So, yeah, they didn't want to overcommit. It was just a Lich after all, and last thing you want to do is go all out on him. So they decide better of it.
Just to come back to the point, the 3K net worth disadvantage, that's between the Lich and the Silencer almost, right? Oh, another initiation.
This is kind of awkward here. Yeah, Viper just poked on out, ran right into coL. He pops a global silence. He says, screw it, we're going to fight. So he did his job once again. Now it's a little bit late engagement here from Complexity. Maybe not as strong. Another strike. The Lincoln Sphere going to be popped. Primal Roar, locking out Bloodseeker with the BKB, and they get Limp in the backlands. But he goes over the ledge right there. The Reaper Scythe there. The Wild Axes to cut him down. So they get the big raid boss in the backlines. And that Chain Frost doing plenty of work as well. It's an ultra kill for CCNC. He's going for the damn rampage. He's not going to get it. Z-Freak gets out, but they'll transition nicely right into the Roshan pit. That time worked out much better. They focused down Chessie, and it worked out. Or excuse me, more so Limp.
You know, you praise them, and then they turn around and do. I think they got too overconfident from the last fights, and you know, the idea. All right, we committed global to this, so let's try and fight here. But this was a very bad position for them to fight, and now it was Complexity that split too far apart. They initiated way too deep, and
Roshan has
they didn't have
fallen
any
to the
vision
ring.
over this entire fight. They didn't know where the Necrofuzz was. They didn't know where the Beastmaster was either. So it was a bad decision to fight there. And I mean, they're already paying with one buyback, and I believe Dire is going to make them buy back on another hero as well. I'm not sure they can, but they're going to try at least.
I was going to say, I mean, they would probably really like the Sniper to buy back, but I mean, as we see, he doesn't even have one. He's up in 20 seconds, though. Bloodseeker does have one. I think, well, they're going to try, and now actually Moo's in trouble. Oh, wow, he just melts right there. So that's a dieback, by the way. Now Z-Freak has to BKB. It's not even going to keep him alive, though. Another strikes in just to harass a little bit more. He goes down, though, and that's the last thing you want to be doing if you're Complexity. Now you just lost 2 more. That's at least 1 Rax here.
I think they just lost their last bit of composure that they had. I don't know. This was just... I don't even think they need to do anything there. I think they just leave that and lose the Rax and accept that and fight the next set of Rax. Because now, it's only 3 heroes to try and defend this set of Rax. And I'm pretty sure Dire can still fight this.
That they can. They're going in. Misery takes the Rupture. He got the Fisher off the Reaper Scythe. Kills Sniper. He's dead for 114 seconds. And with no buyback on top of that, Chessie trying to get the turn kill to Pike out. This is on the Shrine. The Blade Mail comes up. CCC still right-clicking into it. It's going to work out. The buyback immediately from the Bloodseeker right here. But remember, Viper still has the Aegis, so he's not afraid to be in these front lines. He is just attacking like crazy. Finally will go down. But he's coming right back up, baby. And he does have that plus 20 armor, by the way, so good luck killing him right now with that corrosive skin. Takes out Silencer, takes out the Bloodseeker, and that should be it. The PPD stack of Team Dire is going to be advancing onto the finals, most likely, as they're going to defeat Complexity here.
This is absolutely crazy. The Complexity play a very strong game, almost like pretty much they did what they had to do for like 20-30 minutes, and they almost threw it all away in a couple of seconds.
Yep.
Or a couple of minutes, I guess.
Overcommitting.
Yeah, they're going to lose this game.
After that last fight, I mean, you're right. That just simply got caught in the middle lane. It was a great reaction from Team Dire. Getting the jump onto Limp in that position. He tried his darnest to get away, but the Reaper Scythe came out, and eventually Zai sniped him out with the Wild Axes, and that's what really set all of this in motion. Of now the Team Dire victory, and very deserving. So they're going to the finals. Again, they haven't made it just yet. The finals of this qualifier, that is. They still need to win 1 more series if they want to go to their 2nd minor of the year. Of course, they qualified for the BTS minor with the King's Cup victory earlier on in the week. So Complexity, obviously a great run for them. They are going to fall short, though, and knocked out here in the semifinals. But as mentioned earlier, man, they play the same team 2 more times tomorrow in 2 other qualifiers, so it's a quick case of you got to get over it. Life moves on.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll see lots more action tomorrow as well. A lot of back and forth. I mean, I think both teams showed that even though the Dire now came out ahead and won, I think both teams showed that they are very capable of forcing each other to the edge, pretty much. So in that sense, I do look forward to those 2 series tomorrow as well, because I wouldn't be surprised if both teams suddenly have a totally different approach to how they want to draft against one another. Because when you have teams with a history like that, if they face each other that often, they'll usually develop like their own meta in terms of drafting. Right now, suddenly they still remember that IO from yesterday and they keep banning it, or maybe they have something prepared against it, and so on and so forth. So this is going to be very interesting. But for now, the Dire go on and into the finals, and Complexity unfortunately eliminated.
Well, that means we are going to be wrapping up today. Again, the finals for this are not going to take place today. That's going to be another time. I'm actually trying to get confirmation who won the other series, seeing if that is, or is that still happening? That actually might still be happening now that I mentioned that.
That might still be happening. Yeah.
Well, there's no game up right now.
Oh no,
so.
Immortals won. Immortals won.
Did they? Okay.
Yes, Immortals won.
Immortals beat
So it's going to
DC.
be Immortals versus Dire.
Okay, so Immortals versus Dire. That's a fun one there. Obviously, the new Immortals team, or former team of what was MVP Phoenix, of course, whatever way you want to look at it. But good matchup there to determine who's going to be representing the North America region at what will be the PGL Bucharest event. One of the first minors coming up right here. So exciting stuff, man. But what's been a crazy week so far is only going to continue to get crazier as we're going to get more and more results in. Like I said, these 2 teams, they play each other twice more. I personally am actually going to get the chance to cast them again tomorrow in the Star Ladder event. I've actually been doing coverage for that as well, the Star Ladder North American Qualifier. So already looking forward to that, man. and seeing these two teams going at it. But Skim, it was awesome to have you on. Really do appreciate it. Some good stuff there. Any final words, any shout-outs from yourself here?
No, just thanks for having me. Thanks for BTS for having me as well. And yeah, looking forward to maybe even cast some more in the future. So thanks for everybody tuning in, and hope everybody had some fun today. I certainly did. It was a lot of fun.
That's what really matters. No, it definitely looks like everyone did in chat. And if you didn't enjoy that Dota, I don't know why you're watching Dota in the first place, man. That was some fun Dota to watch, entertaining. And again, it all continues on into tomorrow. With all these qualifiers that are happening. So officially wrapping up, though, I'm Breaky CPK. I was joined by Skim here. You can follow myself at Breaky CPK. You can follow Skim at Skim Gaming. Tuning into the PGL Open Bucharest North American Regional Qualifiers. Team Dire takes out Complexity and advances on to the finals here to play Immortals sometime later this week. Well, going to be fun here. We'll see you guys another day. Have a good night. See you next time, guys.